So how do you rank on the first page of YouTube? How do you get this platform, this 100% free platform, to share your content for free to millions of people so that you can grow your brand or your business? My name's Rory Goddard, and in this video I'm going to share with you 5 steps you need to go through to make this happen. Now, I want to be completely transparent with you. At the time of making this video, I've posted 10 videos on YouTube and none of those videos have ranked. But the fact that you're watching this video right now proves the fact that what I'm about to share with you works. I want to reassure you that as someone who's just started out, I didn't just pick the content for this video out of nowhere. This was taught to me by my mentor who's already created multiple 7-figure businesses online. And I want to share some of his wisdom in a way that makes it easy for other people who have just started out to really understand and follow through with this content and follow through with the steps. So let's get started with step number 1. So the first thing you need to do is you need to do your research. Gaining popularity on YouTube is really all about making content, valuable content that you know people within your target audience or within your niche are looking for. Now, in just a moment, I'm going to share with you a tool that you can download for free that's going to help you decide on what is the best content for you to create based on the fact that thousands of people within your niche or your target audience are searching for that content every day. But before we do that, I want to make sure that you already have a broad understanding of who your niche market or your target audience is. What are their problems? What are their pain points? What questions are they asking? What do they need help with? Once you've done this, you can get you can start to really drill down into content that they're really looking for, content that they're going to find valuable and that's going to get them step by step a bit closer to helping them solve their problems or overcome the challenges that they're facing in their life. Once you've done that, once you've gotten a broad understanding of what your target audience is looking for, what content they're looking for, what content is going to help them solve their problems, then you can start to get more specific into what your target audience are actually typing into YouTube. What are they actually searching for within the search bar of YouTube? And the way you can do research in this area is to download the tool Keywords Everywhere. So as you can see up on the screen here, here's the home page for Keywords Everywhere. So it's just keywordseverywhere.com. Depending on what browser you're using, you just install the software into your browser, and then you're sent an email with an API key, and you just have to set that up. It gives you the instructions on how to do that. Then once you have that installed and all set up and ready to go, when you come across to YouTube and you start entering in different keyword or keyword phrases into YouTube, it's actually going to come up with a little drop down and with suggested searches, and it's actually going to show you exactly how many times that particular keyword phrase was searched in the last month. So and what's that's going to do is give you precise information about what your target audience is actually searching for. What are they actually looking for on YouTube? And that's going to provide you with ideas around what content to provide. Alright, so let's move on to step 2. Step 2 is all about optimizing your videos for keyword searches. So once you've created or decided on a keyword phrase that you're going to target and you've created content around that, in order for YouTube to recognize that your videos is about that keyword search, in order for YouTube to recommend your video when someone types in that search, there's a few little steps you need to put in place. So that's what we're going to go through next. Now, the first and most obvious thing is you're going to want to put your keyword or your keyword phrase within your title. Now, this isn't the only thing that you want to have in your title. So when I talk about the next step, which is how to optimize your click-through rate, I'm going to talk about some other aspects of your title that you want to include. But you definitely want to include the keyword or the keyword phrase in your title. Now, another place you're going to want to put your keyword and your keyword phrase is within your tags. So, but obviously you can put a number of tags in there. So definitely put your keyword phrase and your keyword within your tags. But you can also use another tool that I recommend, which you can also get a free version of, called TubeBuddy, and it will help you decide on the most popular tags relating to the content that you've created. So once you've installed TubeBuddy into your browser, it'll show up in the top right here, and when you go and visit different videos now, it's going to show up with some video analytics on the right hand side here. And what you can actually do is scroll down and you can see exactly what tags they're using. So if you identify a video that's covering similar keywords or keyword phrases or similar content to you, and it's already ranking in YouTube, then you can actually just copy the tags that they've used to help them rank in YouTube and copy that directly to your video that's on a similar, that's covering similar content and using similar key phrases. So if you like the sound of that, I've actually included a section down in the description under tools. So this is where you can find a link to TubeBuddy, and you'll also find the link to Keywords Everywhere. The next place you're going to want to include your keyword phrase or your keyword is within your description. So definitely in that first line of your description, you want to include that keyword phrase. So you might even just put the title of your video in the top line of your description, and then definitely write a full description of what your video is about, and within that description include lots of keywords and specifically the keyword phrase that you're targeting. Now, the last thing you're going to want to do to optimize your video for keyword phrases and keyword searches is you want to make sure that every file that you're uploading for that video has your keyword phrase as the name of that file. So for example, the video file that you're uploading, make sure the video file is named your keyword phrase. You're also going to want to create a custom thumbnail, and make sure again that file is saved in your computer as your keyword phrase, and upload it with that keyword phrase. So that's going to help YouTube identify your video as something to recommend when people search that phrase. So while we're on the topic of thumbnails, let's now look at step 3. Because step 3 is all about optimizing your click-through rate. So obviously if YouTube is going to recommend your video to people, so let's say for example the first place your video starts being recommended is in the recommendeds list on the right hand side after someone's just watched a related video. If people aren't actually clicking on it, if it's not actually enticing people to click on it, then why would YouTube then recommend that on the front page for that keyword search? So if you can increase your click-through rate, make your video more compelling for people to actually click on, then obviously you're going to have a better chance of YouTube recommending your video on the front page. So there's two main ways that you can do this. First, it's through creating that custom thumbnail, and the second way is through your title. So let's first look at your custom thumbnail. So the very first thing that I recommend you do before you start creating your thumbnail is actually do some research around what other videos within your niche or for your keyword search are popular, which ones are ranking high, and have a look at their custom thumbnails. And all you need to do is really model them. So they've already found something that works. So if you just model what other people are doing that is already proven to be working, you can't go wrong with that. Now the next thing is you're going to need some tools to help design your thumbnail. So what I use is Canva. So it's absolutely free. You can just go to www.canva.com, create an account, and you can create custom thumbnails, as many as you like through there. And Canva is great. You can do absolutely anything with it. You can upload your own images, and you can change the text. You can do absolutely anything with it. The other tool I use is an app on my phone called Eraser. So I might take a little silly picture of myself and then get the erase the background and then upload that into Canva and create a thumbnail around that. So I do recommend also using a picture of yourself. So that's just helping your audience get to know, like, and trust you a little more, and it makes it more personal. So as we touched on, the next thing you want to consider for optimizing your click-through rate is your title. So we've already spoken about including your keyword phrase within your title, but what you're doing with that is you're really only appealing to YouTube to make sure it recognizes your video as something to recommend when people search that keyword phrase, but it's not really appealing to the person who's actually searching, if you know what I mean. So you want to have the keyword phrase there, but you also want to have an aspect of your title that's appealing to the person reading it. It's creating curiosity and interest from them, and making them want to click on your video. And so one thing that I would recommend here again is to do your research. So look at what other people are doing well. Figure out how you can enticing curiosity for your video, and include some other aspect to your title, not just your keyword phrase. Alright, so let's move on to step 4. So step 4 is optimizing your watch time. So there's a few different things that you can do to optimize your watch time, but before we go into that, let me just explain to you why this is important. So watch time matters to YouTube. So YouTube wants people watching YouTube for as long as possible. So if you're able to, firstly, you're enticing people to click on your video through creating custom thumbnails and interesting and compelling titles, but then you need people to actually stay engaged in your video and actually watch your videos for a significant amount of time. And if you can do that, then YouTube is going to reward you, and that's going to help you get your video ranking on YouTube. So what we're going to do now is go through a few different steps to make sure you're optimizing your watch time. So the first thing you want to consider is the duration of your video. So if you've enticed someone to firstly click on your video and start watching it, you want them to be there for as long as you can. So if you're creating short videos for like 1 to 2 minutes, then obviously that's going to affect your overall watch time. And so what you want to do is you want to make sure that the duration of your video is a decent duration. So I would recommend nothing below 5 minutes. Now ideally you want to work towards creating content that's around 20 to 30 minutes, but obviously the challenge there is keeping people engaged and keeping people on your video for that period of time. So the first thing is you definitely want to consider the duration of your videos, because if your video does get suggested somewhere within YouTube and the title and the thumbnail is enticing enough for someone to click on it, and then they click on it and it's only a 1-minute video, it's not really going to help your channel overall and the other videos that you have there to actually rank in YouTube. But as I touched on, obviously if you're making longer videos, you still need people to be actually watching those videos for that duration. So let's now look at some tactics you can use within your content that's going to help you retain viewers and help them actually stay on your video. So the first thing you're going to want to do is you want to create a hook. So you want to hook your viewer in from the very beginning of your video. So you don't want to have too much fluff at the start of your video. You want to get to the point of what your video is about, how it's going to help them, and why they should watch your video. The next thing is you need to make sure that the content that you're providing is actually of good quality. It's actually providing value to the customer or the viewer, and something so that they want to keep watching. So if you've hooked them in and then you start talking about content that isn't really valuable, it's not really going to help them, then why would they keep watching? So you really need to be providing good content that's going to actually help them and that they're going to appreciate. Another effective strategy you can use is what's called an open loop. So essentially an open loop is something is where you start to talk about an idea or a concept or you start to talk about something, but then you say, oh, that's something that we'll cover a little bit later in the video. You might have noticed that I've done that a few times throughout this video. But essentially what you're doing there is you're creating curiosity, you're creating a little bit of unknown, and they want to know more. So once you've introduced someone to something, but then haven't given them the complete picture, it's a human nature for for people to want to fill in the gaps of their knowledge. So by creating those sort of open loops, you're making people want to stay on your channel so they can find out the answer to a question that you've created in their mind. So an example in this video where I used an open loop is when I started to discuss the tool keywords everywhere. I sort of introduced you to the idea of a tool that would help you to decide on the perfect content to create based on what people are searching for, but I didn't tell you what that tool was straight away. I said that I'd introduce you to that after you understood something else first, and hopefully that's something that helped you to stay on this video because you wanted to find out what that software or that tool was. Now, the last thing you want to consider for optimizing your watch time is obviously your image quality and your sound quality. So if someone jumps onto your video and the sound is a little bit off, they're probably not going to enjoy listening to it, or maybe if the image quality isn't quite there, it's just not that appealing. So this is definitely still something that I'm improving on. So I'm not sure if you might have noticed it, but I actually started this video last night. I received a new webcam today and completed the second half with a new webcam, so you might have noticed an improvement in the quality of the image, but it's still something that I'm working on, and I suggest you do that too. So you really want to optimize your image quality and your sound quality. Alright, so this brings us to step 5, the last step. Now this is by far the most important step and the thing that's going to guarantee you results in terms of ranking on YouTube. Now before I go into that, I just want to say if you've gotten value from this video, please hit the subscribe button and ring that notification bell. So you can be notified when my next video comes out. But alright, let's go into it. So step 5. Step 5 is to be persistent and consistent. So you really want to be consistent in posting regularly. So I recommend a minimum of 3 times per week, and you need to be persistent. So you might not get results straight away. It might take you a long time to actually gain momentum on YouTube. You're going to be, when you first start out, your presence on camera and everything might not be so great, but you got to understand that this is a learning process, and each time you make a new video you're going to get better and you're going to learn new things, and you really need to when you post a video and it doesn't get any views or it's not ranking, you just need to be persistent and push through those times, and eventually just never give up. So be like a nun, commit for life. So that's step 5, and if you can push through for long enough and you can just continue providing great content, continue following the previous steps that I've spoken about, you will get results, you will get there. So that's all for this video today, and I really hope you got value from this and you enjoyed it. Like I said, if you did get value from this, please hit the subscribe button and ring that notification bell, and I'll see you in my next video. Thank you so much for watching.